Hi everyone, welcome back to Psych290. This is Tegan. Okay, there's Tegan, and there's Hazel down there. Hi Hazel. Okay, so these are my TAs for today. Okay, it's a nice sunny day, although a little bit breezy, but we're going to talk about methodological control and experimentation. That would be part 2 of chapter 6. Okay, so in part 1 we talked about the difference between subjects and within subjects and what the basic idea is between the two. But what I'm going to pick up on is essentially what are some of the issues involved with within subjects or repeated measures research. Okay, so one of the major things that I think that you probably picked up on when I was talking about the example of the generation effect lab, okay, is if we ran this as a within subjects design, that means that everybody would get the read-only condition and then we get the generate condition. Well, what would happen if we did it, again, this way? We'll talk about, another reason why that would be wrong in a second. But what if you all got the read-only condition first, okay, and you saw all the list of words first, and then you did the generate condition second? Well, you've already saw the words the first time through, so you would actually have learned the words the first time, okay? So if you did it a second time, of course you're going to do better, okay? But that would have absolutely nothing to do with the level of the independent variable of generating the words. It would just be because you have already learned the words before. Okay, so one of those issues that are involved in this particular case is what's known as a carryover effect, or the book talks about the difference between progressive and carryover effects. Basically, the idea here is that if you're exposed to something once, something's going to be different the second time. Okay, and one of those things, okay, one of these carryover effects would be learning. Okay, you learned the words the first time, and then, again, when you did the second time through, you're going to do better. So it affects the validity of your study big time, okay, if you don't take into consideration these carryover effects. Okay, so I'm not saying we can never do with repeated measures. We're going to talk a little bit later on how we would actually deal with these. Okay, so learning is one of these. Okay, and I list a whole bunch of them in the PowerPoints too. Here, I'm going to break out a mnemonic for you. Okay. A mnemonic is just a learning device to help you remember a list of things. So the mnemonic here is going to be an acronym to help you remember all these different carryover effects. Okay, so if you think of this postal code for Florida is FL, and you think of cash, and who doesn't want to think about cash, okay, then you get this acronym, FLCAHS. Okay, so I'm going a little bit out of order in terms of this this acronym. So learning is one of those. So that's going to be your L. Okay, in terms of this acronym, F comes first. Okay, and that would be fatigue. Okay, if you have a study where you're seeing how many push-ups somebody can do when listening to no music and listen to upbeat music. Okay, what if you did the first level of the independent variable would be no music, and you have people do push-ups, okay? Then the second time through, you have them do the push-ups with the music, okay? Well, what might happen is you just get fatigued the second time through because you've already done 10, 20, 30 push-ups. So you may not do as many the second time through just because you're more fatigued. Okay, so that's the F. Fatigue can play a role here. Just get tired after being exposed to the situation once. Okay, the L, learning, just talked about that one. C, contrast. Okay, think of it this way: if you're exposed to one level of the independent variable once, and then you see another level, you can compare the two. Okay, here's a great example of that. Okay, what if this has, what if your independent variable is how much of a reward you would get for doing a particular task? So first time through, okay, you're told, well, would you do this task if you're paid $100? And he'd be like, yeah, I want $100. Yippee. Okay, love $100. Okay, but then the second time, in terms of the level of the independent variable, maybe you're told that you would get $1,000 for doing this task. Now you're going to be like, yeah, big time, I want $1,000. But what if it was the opposite way? Okay, what if you were given the $1,000 first? You'd be like, great. And then the second time through, you were offered $100. You'd be like, okay, well, $100 is still good, but hey, you just gave me $1,000 before. Okay, So that type of contrast effect can occur within subjects or repeated measures designs. Okay, so we've got fatigue, we've got learning, we've got C for contrast. A is adaptation. Okay, especially in terms of perception research. Okay, if you're given a particular stimulus, you may just adapt to that stimulus, and that's going to affect the way that you perceive the stimulus the second time through. Okay, so some of you may have done this. I hope actually in Psych 100 would be what's known as the spiral after effect. You see a spiral, and after you stop the spiral, you see the spiral moving in the opposite direction. Okay, hopefully you've seen that. If not, then I'll give you a link to that based on what I feedback that you guys give to me. All right, but the thing is, your neurons actually adapt to the motion in one direction, so it takes you less time to experience the effect or the illusion the second time through, because your neurons have already adapted to that stimulus. Okay, so that's adaptation. It can be for motion, depth illusion, such as the Muir-Lyer effect. I'm sorry, not the Muir-Lyer, the Necker cube illusion. Okay, so those are things that, again, show that there is adaptation the first time you are exposed to a perceptual stimulus. Okay, the S stands for sensitization. Actually, I'll put S and H together. S is sensitization, H is habituation. Again, you're actually familiar with habituation already, because we talked about that in terms of infant visual perception. Again, if you present a stimulus over and over again, the baby will stop looking at it. They'll habituate to it. They'll basically get tired of looking at it. So again, that's the same thing here. If you're given a stimulus once, twice, 3 times, you basically get used to seeing it, and you're not going to be responsive to it as much. That is, again, irrespective of whatever is going on with your independent variable. Okay, sensitization, similar idea as if you're exposed to the stimulus once, okay, you get sensitized to it. Say it's a loud noise, okay, so you hear the loud noise once, then the loud noise comes on the second level of the independent variable. Then you may be more startled because you've already heard the loud noise once. Flip side of that is desensitization. That is, if you get that stimulus over and over again, you may just become desensitized to it. You've heard the loud noise once, you hear the loud noise again, you hear the loud noise again. It's like, okay, I'm getting used to it. Okay, I'm desensitized to that particular stimulus. Okay, so those are your major different carryover effects. All right, so you have to be conscious of those when you're doing any sort of within subjects designs. Okay, all right, so I'm going to stop here for right now. We'll talk about how we deal with those in the next segment. Okay, so again, enjoy the sunshine, the blue skies, and we'll talk to you very, very soon. Okay, take care. Bye.